Alright, J.K. Clark, I love Clark, and I was going back to look at my family coat of arms. This is the modern version, okay? It has an eagle, it has those two crescents, whatever these dots are, I don't know. And then the torches, probably forever burning. I suspect that's not an eagle with a fire. That's a phoenix. Anyway, my opinion, and kind of resembles the American flag if you took all that other stuff off there and changed the colors a little bit, doesn't it? Sure does. I wanted to share that because, lo and behold, I had a book and I was wondering about these crescents, and I thought, well, what are they doing? Saturn worship or moon worship or something? You know, of course, all of the lost tribes made pagan paths, made their own ways. So let's see what it says, okay? Because I think we need to get to this one coming up right here. Okay. Yeah. Look at this one. Okay. Look at this. Now, look closely. Watch closely. Okay, let's see here. Try to get a better picture. Bear with me. Okay. Perfect. Now I was saying something on here about there's the knight's helmet and all that stuff, okay? And whatever these things were on the side, I don't know, kind of thing, maybe some kind of creatures. Looks like a tail, you know, or something. Is that a dragon? It almost looks like a dragon, isn't it? Like a dragon's head. Look, dragon's head. The outline of the dragon's head, the snout. There's the wing. You can see the scales of the wing. Scales. The other wing comes out. Or there's a tail, and there's a tail. See the tail? Anyway, this is my family crest, okay? So I went to look and check it out, okay? And lo and behold, I had a book about prehistoric England. Okay. Now, I have been questioning what was it, Saturn or Moon? Because I knew, I know I'm not stupid about things. Now, what is it? Okay, now, the thing is, I opened this book right here, okay? Prehistoric England. Richard Cavendish, okay? Oh no, Russian vids. It's got orange letters. Anyway, I'm teasing. Now, what I found interesting was, since this is the holy way, holy road, holy path, the tree, the stream, the hill, okay, life, okay? Now, let's open this book, and I was reading this book. I got through a few pages, and lo and behold, what did I come upon? Oh my Yahweh. What is this my family was into? Oh boy. Yeah, that's it. That's definitely the same, isn't it? Yeah, it's the same. Even So I'll show you the one that's arranged the same order, even as they show it in this book. Just a second. Let me read a little bit. Beautiful colors, now known as lumele, were made by Bronze Age craftsmen from Irish gold. They presumably had some link with worship of the moon. Okay. So there's more to this, okay? And it talks about how they got advanced civilizations, but I just wanted to show you that real quick because it's interesting. I like to study about my family a little bit. You don't get caught up in it like Yahweh says, okay? But it doesn't hurt to know. Look at this strange stuff. Anyway, let's get back to the video here and talk some more, because I think there's another one that shows the right order.
I don't know.
Okay, so there's the crescent moons. Okay, the other one has it. So, anyway, so this is my own personal study. So, these people must have been involved with some kind of moon. Those were, they were the callers. You know, it said it was moon worship, made with Irish gold. You know, there is the one. Where's this one at?
Had some kind of crescent. Crescent. Sometimes the difference. Holloway. They always have the little knight at the top. Now this one has like goats or rams right here.
Goats and rams and stuff.
The bottom.
On that one, it's a little different.
The little hip.
That's another tribe,
Here.
not mine.
Hoop. Almost like a hoop for an earring.
I'm not sure if that's my tribe.
Saturn symbol or crescent moon.
That's where I'm wondering.
This other one has like a, what it has, a griffin or something on top of it. No, that's Ludlow. It's another Holloway. I don't understand the crescent. Well, I kind of do, and it makes me wonder.
So we saw, well, it was my tribe. Probably priests and moon stuff. Okay, kept up with the moon, and they weren't sun worshippers, so they were probably not Catholic for sure. But there's pretty good examples, I'd say.
So, it has some kind of animal, or I don't know what that is called for sure. You got like the knife. And where are these? I don't know.
I see something.
Third waiting. Maybe y'all can get some insight.
Alright, well, just wanted to share some of that. And I'm going to go back to this book. It's really good. Prehistoric England. If you're from England, I suggest you find some of these books and look at them. And you start to read them. They are interesting. Be careful what you read, though. Okay. Get caught up in some kind of wrong stuff. And look and check into it. But this is a pretty good book right here. Alright, so anyway. Okay. Now. So, they built all kind of things, you know. They knew how to build stuff like this, okay. Oh, how did they put all that rock up there? A bunch of people? Let's follow through there. It must be maybe the sun shined right through there, and the priest maybe stood there like the sun was coming on him. Who knows? The south. Okay. But you know, this book is pretty awesome. It's older, but it's got good photos. Oh, well, a burial crypt. That wheel. What was that for? Could that be part of the machinery? When maybe they put wood through, wooden log through that somehow? I don't know. Push. Maybe that's how they got the rocks up. You never know. Look at that wheel. What was that wheel for? Why is there? You think maybe because there's no. You don't see the logs, so maybe you don't know. I don't know. Who knows? Okay. That's just speculation. But I'm going to go over some of the stuff in this book. It's pretty interesting. It talks about who was there and who got wiped out. Who got to take over. It's pretty nice book. But let's see here. The Celts were headhunters. The human head had a profound magical mystique for them, and they liked to take their enemies' severed heads back home to hang up at their doors. The Celts' aristocracy were great fighters, drinkers, and boasters. They wore cloaks and trousers, perhaps already being tartan patterned with gold and amulets and neck bands. Okay. They may have been tattooed, or they may have put on blue war paint, and for battle they stiffened their hair into spikes with lime. Alright, punk rockers, the first punk rockers. Unless you want to count the Mohawks. I don't know who came first, but they were both punk rock. And I'm talking about the Mohawk Indians. And not the Mohicans either. I'm talking about the brothers of the Seneca. Okay, if you know anything about the 5 Nations Proud. Anyway, they were also the patrons of skilled craftsmen, goldsmiths, jewelers, and armorers, and of artists with words, the bards. A notable Celtic art style emerged, and religion was dominated by the Druid priesthood. Later, in the 2nd century BC, a people the Romans called Belgae, of mixed Celtic and Germanic stock from Belgium and northeastern France, began raiding across the Channel. Some of them settled in southern England, and their leaders carved out kingdoms and lordships for themselves. Caswallon, whose base was in Hertfordshire, seems to have been regarded as High King in the south of England when Julius Caesar launched a punitive expedition to England in 54 BC. Holloway's descendant, Cymbeline, ruled all the southeast from his capital at Colchester in the following century. In AD 43, however, on the orders of the stuttering Emperor Claudius, the Romans invaded the country they knew as Britannia and overran England and Wales. I have Welsh blood and English blood. The Roman conquest is accepted as marking the end of the prehistoric period in England. It had lasted an immense length of time. To get an idea of how long, imagine that the whole period from 300,000 BC to the present is compressed into a single week. On this scale, 300 BC is the first minute of Sunday morning, and the present moment now is 11:59. Oh, there you go, Anita. On the following Saturday night, the owner of the Swanscombe skull was alive at about 4 o'clock on Monday morning. The Ice Age did not end until today, Saturday, at about 4 o'clock this afternoon. The land bridge to the continent disappeared at about 6:45 this evening, and people have been farming since around 8:30. The Roman conquest began a fraction over an hour, and just over 5 minutes since the Battle of Waterloo. Okay? These people had gotten some kind of advanced. See, these were the people before. Okay? These were the people before. I'm not going to say who they look like. What do you think they look like? That don't look like me, does it? Nope. 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 Anyway. Okay, look at these barbed and tanged arrowheads fastened to wooden shafts were still in use in the early Bronze Age. Okay? But it talks about, yes, here we are. Okay, sorry, bear with me. From hunting to farming. Now let's go. Okay, let's go back. And you know what? This is still the introduction. But I want to get you guys interested, so I'll read a little bit right here, and then I'll stop. And I'll go back, and we'll go over this book, if you want to. Okay, let's read this, at least. And by about 4500 BC, people had arrived in England who knew how to farm as well as hunt and fish. They are thought to have been short, slight, dark, and wiry, of a physical type still familiar in Britain. They grew wheat, kept cattle, sheep, and pigs, made the first pottery in England, and constructed the first buildings of any size. The change from hunting to farming slowly spreading all over the country was a decisive step. It meant that most people spent all their lives tied to one place. It meant routine work, grinding, physical toil, a less adventurous life, greater comfort, but less freedom, and more toothache, incidentally because of increased consumption of cereals. Where they try to give our kids, and then our kids get cavities from. Well, we feed them cereal all the time, right? This says it increases cereal increases cavities or toothaches. Well, Man had taken a major initiative in his long experiment in altering his natural environment. Magic. Manly P. Hall would call that magic. In time, as the forests were burned and failed, agriculture created a countryside of farmsteads and villages. The population swelled. Sorry, guys. The population swelled. Private property accumulated. An elite priesthood seemed to have sprung up, learned in mathematics and astronomy. Isn't that interesting? That's interesting because that's the same thing with all these civilizations, a lot of them. They all spring up, and then there's these people, private property, acquired, accumulated. An elite priesthood seemed to have sprung up, learned in mathematics and astronomy. Okay, so powerful chieftains. Oh wow, look at this figure in pine wood, late Bronze Age, early Iron Age in Colchester and Essex. Is that Essex Museum? It is 19 inches high. A detachable phallus could be fitted inside the hole. What the? Oh my gosh. See that hole? And we'll put a phallus in there. What were they going to do with that? Is it taking out their toy? I mean, I don't want to be too graphic, but what were... And if you ever watch that song, look up a song. It's funny, okay? If you have a sense of humor and you're not afraid of a little dirty language. They have a song by King Missile called Detachable Penis, and I'm not trying to recommend it, but it's funny that this is in here because I have that on my playlist because I think it's a funny song, and I think they have a lot to say. Anyway, so let's get back. Powerful chieftains organized large-scale engineering works. The causewayed camps, which may have been used for religious rituals and for markets, and the first hinged temples. The dead of the leading families were buried with great toil and reverence in massive stone tombs beneath huge mounds of earth. There were tool factories and flint mines with shafts as much as 40 feet deep, whose products were distributed along a network of tracks and rivers. Okay. The coming of metals. The age of stone tools and metals drew to a close after 3000 as metal working began, at first in copper and gold. Then smiths started to alloy copper from Then smiths started to alloy copper from Ireland with Cornish tin to make a material tougher than either bronze. The Bronze Age had dawned, but changes of this kind do not occur all at once. Different groups in England were at different stages of development and probably spoke different languages. Apparently, the new metalworking technology was introduced by groups of warlike, hard-drinking immigrants from Germany and Holland, who may have been the first Celts in Britain. Holloway. Maybe. Successive waves of them came in, it seems, in considerable numbers. They are known to archaeologists as the beaker people from the drinking mugs which they buried with their dead under the round barrows that still stand in the lines along our halls. They were cattle herders who had domesticated the horse and who may have brought with them a language from which Welsh and Gaelic are descended. Now, Welsh and Gaelic, especially the if you can speak Welsh, you can actually speak Hebrew, and Gaelic is also originated from it. The Tuatha De Danann, that means the tribe of Dan in Ireland. The period of 1,000 years or so after, about 2500 BC, saw the construction of the bulk of the great stone circles which are most eerie and impressive legacy of prehistoric England. The rich warlords and cattle barons of Wessex, perhaps led by a dynasty of kings, built this huge stone temples of Overbury and Stonehenge and profited from trading links with the Mediterranean and Baltic. After about 1500 BC, the climate changed, became colder and wetter. For reasons which are not yet understood, the construction of hinges and stone circles and barrows fell away. There are signs of growing tension and hostility which increased production of weapons, swords, spears, daggers, and shields. The earliest hill forts were now constructed for defense, with ramparts of earth and stone topped with wooden palisades. The next major technological change from bronze to iron began roughly about 750 BC. In the last centuries before the arrival of Roman legions, much of the country was divided into Celtic tribal territories, populated by peasant farmers who grew corn and raised cattle and sheep. They fed and supported and were ruled and protected by a warrior aristocracy of kings and chieftains. How far this had been a homegrown development, and how far a product of invasion and influence from abroad is not at all clear, though some groups of Celtic immigrants certainly shrouded their way in from France. It was a time of much petty warfare, raiding and wrestling, with increased production of armaments, the use of cavalry, and the introduction of war chariot. Hill forts grew more numerous, and their defenses stronger and more elaborate. Some of them were chieftain strongholds to which the local farmers could retreat when raiders or warriors were sighted, but some were permanently occupied as fortified villages. Okay, we read that they were headhunters already. Crested helmet. Now these markings are weird. Bone combs were used for weaving in the Iron Age, when Celtic warriors may already have been wearing the forerunners of today's tartan patterns. Okay, white people done this before. Okay, pretty interesting stuff. Okay. Look at this beautiful craftsmanship. This beautiful mirror from Desborough, Northamptonshire, was made not long before the Roman invasion. It has an elegant handle, and the back is decorated with a symmetrical curvilinear design. That's handmade stuff, people. Handmade. Could you make that by hand? Not today. I doubt anyone could. Maybe somewhere at the Calico Mountain, we're up here playing around up at the ghost town, playing country. One of a pair of labyrinths carved on a rock on a face by a ruined mill in the Rocky Valley in Cornwall, possibly dating from the Bronze Age. Reminds me of a crop circle almost. And what was this little hole here for? What are they doing? What did they put on that? Blood? What did they do with that? What was that for? Okay. Some kind of sign for somebody to know something, what's going on up ahead or something, you know. Well, the road sign. Probably the tribe of Dan leaving some kind of message. Looks like a person holding their hands up with the sun behind them. Maybe it's a moon. I don't know. Okay. Maybe it's the moon at night. The West Country, look at this stuff. It's pretty cool. Probably never get to go there. I'm probably on a stupid list just because what I talk about, I can't probably even get on an airplane. A lot of different things, you know. The remains of 8 stone houses stand opposite each other across the village street in Chichester. Hand mills for grinding corn were found here, as well as pottery and domestic refuse. The houses had another view. The houses had rooms opening off a central hall. The hole in the stone in the foreground was the socket for a post which supported the roof. Okay, well that's what they think. There goes a grinding mill. I don't know. There. Topped by the tower. Oh, that's beautiful, isn't it? Topped by the tower of the ruined chapel of St. Michael, Glastonbury Tor is a landmark for miles around. It was probably a sacred place long before Christianity came to England. Well, let me tell you one thing. They're associating Michael with Thor, because Tor is Thor. Anyone in Deutschland, Norway, those kind of places, Denmark, Sweden, they know Tor is Thor. So this place was representing Thor probably way before it represented Christ. Okay. But I wanted to stop probably there because it has it's very interesting. Because my name's Michael, and I happen to kind of studied about Thor and Norse mythology, and I always tried to match up things, but it's kind of weird that they put Michael and Thor together, because I always thought of that association kind of in the mythology. That okay, so call me crazy, whatever, I'm not, but thought that was interesting. Anyway, I'm gonna stop there probably, and you guys can tell me if you like this kind of stuff. or if you don't. Because if you don't, then we don't show it. But I think these are interesting things. Now there's that same one, but this time it looks like it's on the ground. Because this is the ground, see? See the trees in the background? That's the ground. Okay, who are they trying to contact here? The hand of God. What is this? A giant? You know? Wow. So, run out of time. Look at some of these pictures. It's pretty awesome. This is the South. Probably the Welsh making this stuff. Okay. They try to figure out how it was built, but they never have a full. They never have a full reason. They got the blueprints and everything. London in the southeast. Okay. A tranquil section of the Pilgrim's Way used by medieval pilgrims to Glastonbury, but dating from long before the Middle Ages. It was a prehistoric route between Channel Coast and Salisbury Plain. So was this the walk? Was this the Holy Way? Was it the Holy Path? I don't know. Maybe I should study into what was the Holloway place on the way through that route. I don't know. I'm very ignorant on this. I have no idea, but it looks beautiful, doesn't it? Looks like a fairy, or a wizard, or any kind of thing could just pop out of there. A goblin. I love fantasy stuff. It's pretty cool. Gotta admit, it's pretty fascinating stuff. Okay. No, it's not a pipe. It's a tool. What is this tool here? Pottery spoon. Most of the implements familiar to us have been invented by Neolithic. Today had been invented by Neolithic times. So there you have it, a spoon. Okay. Let's see. I think I'm going to end this video. There's more. That's way up high picture. Okay. What in the... Look at those trees. This is a... You have to see this almost from the sky. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay. I think I'm done with this book. It's falling down. We'll just look at it some more later. Pretty bad. The Heart of England. Okay. There. Alright, that Love Clark, and that was just something for me and anyone that's a Holloway to know about, and a little bit of education on England and who we are. Okay, love you guys, and it's AK Clark or at Love Clark, whatever. Have a good day. Love you guys, love.